All right. Hey, what's going on? Jeremy Sandow here, and I am here with Cameron. And Cameron's been a part of Simple Product Profits, our Amazon selling program. How long has it been, Cameron?
For about a year and a half.
Year and a half. Year and a half. So he's starting to get to that OG status. Cameron, thanks for coming on with me here. I wanted to talk to you because I think you kind of have a unique story. So, Cameron, you're in the Navy, correct?
Yes, I am, Jeremy.
And you're there right now on base, right?
I am on base right now, yeah, hanging out.
Cool. I appreciate you taking some time out. So yeah, Cameron was or is still active in the Navy, and he kind of has a unique story of kind of starting this business while he's active military, right? So it's pretty interesting because I get a lot of people who they want to make a transition out of a job, or they want to make a transition out of something that they're doing right now. But they have the excuse of, oh, I've got too much stuff going on. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I mean, Cameron is kind of like the busting of that excuse, if anybody is. So, Cameron, could you kind of give everybody a lowdown of kind of where you were at before you joined our program, and kind of what led you to be interested in doing this?
Yeah, absolutely. So it all started off, I was on a deployment, and I got hurt. I fractured a vertebrae in my back, and I was 25 at the time, and I was worried, like, great, I'm hurt now. I'm going to be getting, medically separated from the military here not too long if I don't get better. And I'm married. I have 3 small children, and I'm like, how am I going to support my family? And so I was just scrolling through Facebook one day, and I came across this ad about starting an Amazon business. And I thought, well, hey, that's something I could do. That doesn't sound too hard. I'm not dumb, but I'm not super smart either. But maybe if these guys teach me what I need to do, I could do that, laying on my back and not having to worry about, breaking my back for a living anymore. So I just did it, and I listened to these guys' webinar and ended up loving it, and talked to my wife about it, and we said, all right, let's do it. So we took our usual tax return that we get. Instead of paying off credit cards, we put it towards starting a business, which, is not a whole lot of money. But it was definitely a big jump, and I was nervous about it. But going through the SVP program, it's been great. And, Jeremy and Austin have always been helpful and very insightful on how to do things. And I didn't know how to run a business, and they pretty much tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. The roadblocks are all there. You just have to apply yourself. And so, me being active duty, I was working a lot. I started to work a full-time job, and then full-time family, and then sleep and work out sometime. And so it's kind of like doing business a couple hours a night, on the computer. But you just got to make time for it and push through it. And after just a couple months, I got up and running and got a product on Amazon and started selling pretty successfully. And then as I kept going, I kept getting bigger and more popular, and then continue to grow. And now I'm working on my own website and getting things going on there, and big Facebook campaigns, and everything just scaling up. So the future's looking good.
That's awesome, dude. And just to kind of backtrack a little bit, like I said at the beginning, a big thing for everybody is kind of like how, I might be working a job, or I might be, doing another business or something like that. And I want to, I realize the opportunity in e-commerce and selling physical products, but I don't know how to kind of make that transition. Did you find that, finding the extra time or making the extra time is really what it's about, right? Making the time. If it's important to you, you'll do it. But was that a hard process for you? Or like, how did you kind of balance everything that you had going on with family and being active military and stuff like that? What are some tips to kind of, prioritize that or move things forward when you're really, got a lot going on?
Yeah, it's definitely a hard thing to do. Time management. It's probably one of my hardest things because I am so busy. I have my priorities are kind of my family first, and then it's kind of the job, the military, and then my personal business kind of sits on the back burner. But to get started, when I got hurt, I was like, all right, well, I have to do this. Like, there's no other way. I don't have an option. Like, I'm going to be out of a job soon. I mean, luckily, I ended up getting better. But I just put that time in, put the grind in every night for an hour or two, maybe, when the kids were asleep. and made it work. And it's been challenging, struggling to do it. The bigger that I'm trying to push it, but it's really fun. I've learned that there's like in e-commerce, there's so much to learn, and I'm really enjoying that. And one day maybe stepping away from the military aspect and doing this full time is the goal, because it is fun and it is rewarding. So yeah, just managing time is the big thing. You just got to make time for it. But as long as you work at it, it's not a wake up one morning and it's just easy money. You got to work for it. But that's kind of like with anything. So yeah.
Awesome. And when you first started the program, you said at the beginning that you were doing this basically from complete scratch, right? You didn't really have any like background or anything like that. And you ended up, can you kind of tell people a little bit about like the business that you started and kind of what, industry that it's in, and, kind of how you arrived to picking that and things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm in the pet supplies industry. So I sell all natural health supplements for dogs to enable them to live a longer, healthier, happy life. And I'm passionate about dogs. I have dogs and I love them, and I wanted to give them the best health possible. And going through your modules, you have this criteria that you look for in a product, and you start searching Amazon and figuring out, what's a good product, what's a bad product, what you want to look for. And as long as it meets all that criteria, then it's pretty straightforward and easy, because, you start thinking like, oh, I want to sell this and sell that. And it's something that, has never been sold before, but that's really the opposite. You want something that is selling well already that you can get into and do it better than them. And so that's just what I did. I got into a niche, a category for dogs, and I just started doing it better than everyone else from your help and going through the modules, telling me exactly what I needed to do.
Awesome. And, one thing I also wanted you to share with everybody too, that's really important, because one of the things that, me and Austin want to do is be a kind of a catalyst for change in, e-commerce, right? Because there's a lot of people that sell junk and they don't care about it, and there's no meaning behind it. And not only is that bad for the consumer because they're not getting like a good product and from a brand that really cares, but it's also, it's hard to sustain a business from the seller side with a brand that, or a product or a company that you don't really care too much about. So, something that I wanted you to share with people watching is how your brand connects to your background in the military and some of the cool stuff that you want to do and are doing with that. Could you kind of talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I have a strong brand presence. I didn't want to just sell a product and throw it up there on Amazon and make some money. I wanted to actually start something that's going to be long-term and be a business and a brand that's kind of recognized, countrywide. And so I started that brand, and I knew if I was going to do something like that, I had to have a mission. And so my mission is not only to help dogs, live longer, healthier, happy lives. I wanted to help fellow service members like myself. Being in the military, I have a lot of pride and respect for my other shipmates and service members. And so I found that there's some nonprofit organizations out there that work with dogs, and they take dogs from basically kill shelters, and they rescue them, give them the health care they need, and they train them to be service animals. And then they're given to veterans who are coming back from wars and just all the stuff that we have to go through, who have PTSD or sometimes just need someone to be there for them because they have no one else. And so my company is kind of a sponsor and a partner for them, so that we donate a large portion of our profits to them, so that they can not only help dogs live better lives, but also save them and then give them back to veterans in return. So you're saving veterans and people, because the suicide rate for veterans is just so high lately, and it's just terrible to see. So having a dog just come there and be that veteran's best friend it's a really good thing to see. And the impact that I can have just from starting my own, Amazon products to changing the lives of so many is really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. And that's really what I think it's all about, is being able to, e-commerce now should be about, making money. Of course, like, you've got a family to feed, and you've got, you eventually will want to transition out of the military, I'm sure. And, this is part of the plan to to do that. So of course that's important, but also being able to sustain something long term. A lot of people miss this, is like, you know, the money is a motivator, but also like when you have that, or when you get to that point, then it's kind of like, now what? You're just going to keep chasing the carrot on the stick. There's got to be like something more impactful, or something, you know, more, you know, of a bigger picture thing that you're trying to accomplish with the brand. And that's why I think you're doing an awesome job, because not only does it separate you and you know, give people something to kind of attach to with your company, but you're also are making a difference, right? Like, it's like you said, you know, a lot of, you know, veterans have a real tough time transitioning back into civilian life, and, you know, with the suicide rates and depression and things like that, if you can, you know, be the catalyst of, you know, connecting these people to service animals, and even just change one person's life that way, it's huge, right? So, so I'm really appreciative of that, and that you've thought of that, and also making a connection with your background. It's just really awesome to see. So I'm super happy for you, and the stuff that you're doing.
Thank you.
So just kind of to wrap it up, would you mind kind of sharing kind of the growth process for you with the products that you're selling? Like, you know, how many products have you expanded into? Can you share like some of the results that you've achieved, stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started off with one product, and I started off small, as you guys teach us. Never put too much money into something that you don't know if it's gonna really work. You know, you've seen it work through research, but if it went into your actual own product, you want to start small, and you know, cost minimization. And so I started with one and started selling that, and then I realized it started selling a lot faster than I thought. It was pretty good success, and so I ran out of inventory. I was like, oh no, like I'm losing out on sales because I got nothing left. Everyone bought on my stores, and so I charged my credit card for thousands of dollars to get a new supply, and then my manufacturer basically takes like 30 days to really get it to you and checked into Amazon. And so by the time I got that next shipment, it was already time to order again. And so I ran out of money again, because I was making money through Amazon, but they hold it kind of like in an escrow account for a little bit before they pay you. So I ended up taking out a loan for $30,000 and got as much inventory as I could, and then started selling off of that. And then I just paid off the loan like the next month, and everything started flowing, and I just started selling more and more, and kept the brand going, kept up with the customers. You know, they had questions, I would answer them, let them know, and try to make myself a presence, and just keep growing. And now I'm on my second product, another supplement for dogs, and it's going a little bit slower, but it's still doing pretty good. And I think it's going to keep going well. And the goal's here in a couple, you know, hopefully this year, maybe next year, launch a couple more and really expand my product line and make this business really a solid, you know, company, rather than just a online base. Have our own website and really start pushing to change the country and help dogs and help the veterans all over. So that's the goal.
That's super awesome. And what are your kind of sales at, as far as like whatever you're comfortable sharing, as far as like revenue or like sales per day, like for your products? Like what are you kind of at right now for that?
Yeah, so we did pretty good last year. You know, I started in April, and then so by the end of the year we grossed over 500,000 in sales, which is pretty impressive. I never thought it was going to be, you know, that successful, and as far as, you know, money wise. And this year we're on track to do more than that, and I'm hoping to keep pushing closer to that 1 million mark, and see what we can do to give back, and just keep it going and flowing, because it's pretty good. I'm enjoying it.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, super happy for you. And the kind of the last thing that I want to do to kind of wrap things up is, you know, people listening, they may be involved on Amazon selling already. They may be just interested in Amazon selling, and you know, and kind of checking things out. But what is like one or two pieces of advice you can give somebody who's either just starting out or you know, wants to really make it, you know, successfully selling on Amazon? What kind of advice could you give them? I
think the advice I'd have to give you is don't pick something that's just going to make money. Put pick something that you can stand behind and something that you care about that other people care about. Because if you care about it and other people care about it, then it's going to be successful. You know, it could be a sponge, and no one really cares about a sponge. But if it's something that you actually care about, you know, you'll be able to sell it and stand behind that brand and make it work. And as long as you listen to Jeremy, you're going to be fine. And, you know, do it that way. So that's what I would say. Just have your heart into it. And if you work hard in it, kind of if you build it, it'll come. So
awesome, dude. Well, Cameron, I appreciate you coming on here. I know you're a busy guy and got a lot of stuff going. And we, you know, as always, I've said this a couple of times, but we appreciate your service, and stay safe out there. And appreciate you coming out, and we'll talk real soon.
All right. Absolutely. Thanks, Jer.